Will Skelton face his major injury setback? Wallabies and La Rochelle in limbo. Will Skelton, the towering Wallabies lock currently plying his trade with La Rochelle, has been struck by another major injury scare, putting his availability for the upcoming 2026 international season in serious doubt. The 33-year-old was forced from the field after just 30 minutes during La Rochelle's 26-15 defeat to Bayonne in the top 14 on Saturday, March 28, with fears growing that he may have suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon. This potential injury comes at the worst possible time for Skelton in both his club and country. The lock had only just returned to competitive action after a lengthy 2-month layoff due to a calf injury. In his comeback against PAO last weekend, Skelton had displayed glimpses of the form that has made him a linchpin in La Rochelle's forward pack, only to be cruelly sidelined once more. The incident, early exit and immediate concern. Skelton's exit from the match was worrying. Observers noted that the Wallabies forward struggled visibly as he limped from the field, leaning heavily on medical staff. While the club has yet to confirm the full extent of the damage, early reports from La Rochelle's coaching staff suggest the worst-case scenario is being seriously considered. There's a suspected Achilles tendon rupture, said La Rochelle assistant coach Rémi Talès in a post-match press conference. It's tough for a player like him, given the effort he's put in to come back after his calf injury. We're all thinking of him and hope he recovers quickly, because we need him. Talès' comments underline the severity of the situation. Skelton's presence in the pack has been instrumental to La Rochelle's strategy this season. His combination of size, experience, and physicality makes him one of the most dominant locks in world rugby. Losing him for an extended period, particularly during the critical phase of the Top 14 and EPCR Challenge Cup campaigns, would be a major blow. The psychological and tactical impact beyond the obvious physical consequences. Skelton's potential absence carries serious tactical and psychological ramifications for La Rochelle. Talès elaborated on this point in his post-match remarks. We were playing well. When you see Rémi Talès, who suffered a calf injury, and Skelton go off, even if you're down to 14 men, you gain a psychological advantage. The impact on mauls, lineouts, and scrums was immediate. La Rochelle conceded 2 tries in the second half, and Talès noted that the lack of experience in critical positions contributed to these lapses. Skelton's ability to dominate in set pieces, disrupt opposition ball, and provide leadership on the field cannot be overstated. Without him, La Rochelle must rely on younger or less experienced locks, altering both their game plan and team morale. Implications for La Rochelle's season. Should the suspected Achilles injury be confirmed, Skelton faces an extended spell on the sidelines. For a player of his age and position, an Achilles rupture typically requires months of rehabilitation, meaning he could be ruled out for the remainder of the top 14 season. La Rochelle are currently attempting to regroup after a challenging early season in both domestic and European competitions. The loss of their premier lock would exacerbate these difficulties, particularly as the French club prepares to compete in the latter stages of the EPCR Challenge Cup. Their remaining fixtures will require significant contributions from other forwards to compensate for the absence of Skelton and Talès, increasing pressure on the squad depth. The timing could not be worse for La Rochelle, who rely heavily on experienced players to stabilize their set-piece dominance. Without Skelton, the team may struggle to maintain control over scrums and mauls, potentially affecting both possession and point-scoring opportunities. The Wallabies' concern. Skelton's injury also raises major concerns for the Wallabies ahead of their 2026 test schedule. Head coach Joe Schmidt has crafted a demanding season that will test the squad across multiple continents and formats. Beginning in July, the Wallabies campaign will include 3 Nations Championship tests against Ireland, France, and Italy, home and away series against Japan, 2-test tour of Argentina, standalone test against the Springboks, Bledisloe Cup series against the All Blacks, 3 further Nations Championship tests against England, Scotland, and Wales. Skelton's experience, physicality, and ability to anchor the lineout are crucial to Australia's forward strategy. His absence from the squad would necessitate changes in leadership and tactics, potentially forcing Schmidt to elevate younger or less experienced locks into high-pressure international matches. Rehabilitation challenges. Recovering from a calf injury only to potentially face a ruptured Achilles presents a unique challenge. Rehabilitation from such an injury is often protracted and requires careful management to avoid long-term complications. Skelton's age, while still within a professional athlete's peak range, makes recovery more complicated, particularly for a position that demands explosive power and high-impact collisions. Medical teams will need to closely monitor his progress, potentially delaying his return to full contact training for several months. Given the Wallabies' schedule, this could effectively rule him out for international duty during the opening stages of the season, limiting Schmidt's options in the lock department. Historical perspective on Skelton's resilience. Skelton has previously overcome significant injury setbacks, including lengthy spells sidelined with calf, knee, and shoulder injuries. His return to form against PAO last weekend demonstrated not only his physical recovery but also his resilience and mental toughness. However, repeated injuries in quick succession can impact performance levels, and the risk of re-injury is heightened after an Achilles rupture. Both La Rochelle and the Wallabies will need to manage his workload carefully, balancing the desire to have him available with the necessity of long-term health and career longevity. Club and country coordination. La Rochelle and Rugby Australia will be closely coordinating in the coming days to assess Skelton's condition and formulate a rehabilitation plan. This includes detailed imaging, consultations with orthopedic specialists, and a structured return-to-play program that prioritizes both safety and performance. The club's focus will initially be on healing and regaining full mobility, followed by a gradual reintroduction to training in contact situations. For the Wallabies, the priority will be ensuring that Skelton is fully fit for the international stage, even if it means missing part of the early season. Broader implications for Top 14 and EPCR Challenge Cup. La Rochelle's campaign has already been challenging, and the loss of a player of Skelton's caliber could have ripple effects on their standings. In both the Top 14 and EPCR Challenge Cup, forward dominance is often a deciding factor in key matches. Without Skelton, the club may struggle to compete in the set-piece and physical collisions that define knockout rugby. This could provide opportunities for other locks within the squad to step up, but it also places added pressure on the coaching staff to adjust strategies mid-season. Tactical adaptations, including quicker ball movement, defensive rotations, and altered line-out options, may be necessary to offset the loss. Fans and media reaction. Skelton's injury news has already generated concern among fans and pundits. Social media platforms have been flooded with messages of support from both French and Australian rugby communities. Many have highlighted Skelton's importance to La Rochelle's ambitions and the Wallabies' prospects in the 2026 Test season. Analysts have also debated the potential impact on squad depth and selection, noting that Australia will need to identify suitable replacements capable of performing at the international level. Moving forward, the immediate focus for Skelton, La Rochelle, and the Wallabies is recovery. Medical staff will prioritize accurate diagnosis and a detailed rehabilitation program. If the injury is confirmed as an Achilles rupture, it is likely that Skelton will miss several months of competitive rugby, affecting both domestic and international schedules. Conclusion. Will Skelton now faces a crucial recovery period after a suspected Achilles tendon rupture during La Rochelle's Top 14 clash with Bayonne. The implications of this injury extend far beyond his club, potentially ruling him out of the Wallabies' demanding 2026 Test season. From domestic league ambitions to international aspirations, Skelton's availability will have a defining impact on multiple competitions. Both La Rochelle and Australia will need to carefully manage his rehabilitation, balancing short-term team needs with the long-term health and performance of one of rugby's most dominant locks.